So you didn't have issues with like the features that the telecom operator as Swisscom needs is not something that the community can easily understand what it exactly is, why it is needed. So you did not run into those type of challenges in terms of um like trying to get something through.
No, but I think the vendors face this challenge in a way because we do have a bigger topic in on our plates, both vendors and ourselves, to tackle config management, for an example. But it's a telco proprietary interface, and in an ideal world or in an IT-like world, we would like to have the configuration done with non-netconf interfaces, right? So it could be treated like an IT application. But due to the standards with 3GPP and etc., it's not the case. So you need to comply with that and also try to bring this way of life cycling the core into the Kubernetes layer or done in a cloud native way. So there, I think everyone's doing a workaround, having this netconf interfaces or this Yang, etc. Um, but I think from that point of view, either if it's operator wanting to do it or the vendor trying to tackle it, I think it's a big challenge that solving this puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the complexity increases within the 5G core. For the audience, the 5G core is the not the 5G like the radio side, but the network core. We do introduce new network functions every now and then, so the complexity increases, and at the same time, we also have to maintain the 4G core and the 3G. So yeah, 3G will be phased out, but 4G, 5G, the complexity increases, and we also want to operate the network with less people, right? There's also this cost pressure coming. So how do we increase the productivity aspects and etc.? So yeah.
So it sounds like that some of the challenges are on the standards side. Are you aware of any conversations or any evolution or changes happening there?
Not really, but we have provided some feedback to one of the standards from our, but what we are involved is ETSI. It stands for European Telecommunication Standards Institute. I mean, there it's taking again. I'm coming back to this Kubernetes aspect. We have this way of operating and life cycling the networks outside to the Kubernetes, out of band Kubernetes, and we want to bring it into in-band Kubernetes. So these things have addressed, and I believe they are looking into it or looking into ways of how to tie these bridges with the CNCF, how to keep up with the phase. Because oftentimes these standard bodies also you need to meet with the consensus, which means it's not moving that fast, etc. So,
and the likelihood that the world moves on to WebAssembly from containers and
exactly.
Kubernetes by the time the standards body engages that's hence the problem of the different speeds of these different organizations.
I mean, I remember back in the day when we were trying to organize some meetings and engagement between the OpenStack community and Etsy, the Etsy NFV standards group, and we did manage to have, I think it was one in-person meeting that we had with a bigger group, because there was a um, project teams gathering event in Denver, Colorado. And that event is very contributor focused. So OpenStack and other opening for project teams were coming together in person and talk about anything related to the project services that they were working on. And somehow some magic happened in the universe because the Etsy NFV standards group were meeting, I think, the same week and the same city in the same year. So it was fascinating, just like how that magically aligned, because you can imagine that there's no way to influence when a global community meets and when an Etsy standards group meets, like that it's the same time, same place. So we, on both sides, we kind of fought tooth and nail to make sure that there is a meeting with, people from both groups. And I think we had like a 3 hour session. And it was pretty amazing because, both sides could have a little more visibility into like who's doing these different efforts, who are the people, and what the contexts are. So having a little bit of understanding on the OpenStack developer side, what goes into standardization, what that group needs to be able to move forward, and vice versa, like how the
Yeah.
OpenStack development works and what developers are working with, what kind of requirements, what is their way of working, and just being able to talk to each other. And I think that sped up a little bit the sort of the translation that people need to do between those two groups, because the terms and words that the standards body is using versus developer of an open source project, those are usually not really matching. So we had a lot of challenges in terms of like, why are you saying this? Like, where is that requirement coming from? Like, give me the use case. Like, give me what you want to achieve. And like on the developer side, and then on the standard side, like I want to have an interface. Like I want to have a standard interface. And there was like a bit of a
Yeah.
cultural clash. So it was really interesting, and I assume there's still some of that left um, in the in this space when it comes to Etsy engaging with now Kubernetes and the CNCF ecosystem, and then WebAssembly comes
Yeah,
down the
exactly.
road.